Hey everybody, welcome back to Plum Figgy. This is Tammy. I think this might be the last video of putting this really awesome junk journal together. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and sewn the signatures into the support piece that's going to go into our spine. So here's our spine that we did, I think now 2 videos ago. And so let me just quickly show you. So I have a piece of cardstock, and then to that cardstock I glued my fabric piece so that it would be facing upwards. And then I sewed my signatures into that cardstock piece. And then after that, I took this cheesecloth, or what an equivalent to cheesecloth. This is from Hobby Lobby, and I glued it so that I'll fray this at the end. I just don't want to do it yet, but I glued a piece there and a piece here at the bottom, and then to kind of just make sure everything stays put, I just have a scrap piece of paper glued down on top of that. So that's essentially what I just finished, and as you can see, everything is looking real good. I did remove, there's this that should go here. I just found a paper clip that I don't know what it goes to, but before I finish everything, I'll make sure and go back through the whole book and make sure everything's where it needs to be. Also, last night when I stopped filming, I went ahead and backed this piece with some cardstock, and it's a really pretty color of wine red, and then I distressed it, and so then I actually had been tea dyed, the cardstock, but then there was a line where it had been folded, so I just added some of this graph paper to the back just to kind of make it look like a fresco of paper fresco. So anyway, this is ready for writing or whatever you may want to do, but there's that. And I don't know how it's going to be included. I think probably just stuck in as like a bookmark kind of a thing, but for right now, I'm gonna keep it out. And then, so here's the card that'll go there. So then I still have all of our other little envelopes that we were playing with last night. And so I'll put those in at the very end, because it's easier to work without a bunch of extra things if you can possibly manage to do that. So, okay, now let's figure out how we're going. Oh, this is attached, so okay. Let's walk you through how we're going to do this. So this is our front cover. Sorry, my kitten is just having a good old time on a cat tree. He's in funny positions. Okay. So I'm gonna work with this, but the way that this is gonna work though is this fabric and this fabric are going to join together, and then they're going to go on the inside, so that way we'll have a clear view of the entire front and back covers. So I'm trying to remember how I did this the last time. Okay, I remember now. It's been a while. This is something I think I figured out on my own. I don't remember seeing a tutorial on it. Maybe I did. I don't remember. But I'm going to line this up and make sure it's all aligned properly. The goal is to get the papers seated into our spine and evenly spaced top and bottom. So I think I've got that now. So I'm going to very carefully put some Fabri-Tac in the middle here, and hopefully not shift anything. The thing though is I don't want the Fabri-Tac to be super thick because it could seep through. Sorry for my hand. I know it's not in the best position, but I'll do my best to... Okay, so I'm gonna smooth that out with my finger. Okay. And clean off my hand real quick. And then I'm gonna bring this back up and we're gonna join those two together. Just like that. So that's just our first layer of protection. I will be sewing everything as well. So, but let's go ahead and flip this around and I'll do the same thing on the back side. So in retrospect, I was wondering about the thickness of this fabric, and I'm glad I chose a thicker fabric. I think for this purpose, this kind of binding, it's probably a good thing to have two thicker kind of upholstery type fabrics if you can. Or if you don't have upholstery fabrics, maybe double up your fabric quarter fabric or your cotton fabric that you might have. I think it would just help just to have more stability right here, because this is where all of your strength is going to be coming from on your journal. So, I mean, everything's going to be on here. So, okay, now this part is fairly simple. I say that. It's easier when it's a little bit not as thick of a journal. But we'll work with it. I always like to start with the back one because if you make a mistake, it's usually the first time you do something. And usually that back one isn't as noticeable if there's a mistake. So, but I'm not going to make a mistake. It'll be good. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and add some glue to this edge here. And I don't need to worry about smoothing that down, but I am going to worry about getting this placed right. Okay, so now that it's basically in the right spot, I'm going to shift the weight and really get that glued down now. Okay. So I do like to, let's see, yeah, get that little bit of a lip there if I can. So while the glue is still a little bit malleable, I'm just going to get that positioned where I really want it to be, and I think it is. So, okay. Yeah, I messed that up here a little bit. So very carefully, and I'm using my body to rest the signatures against. And I'm just going to kind of let it do its thing and let it dry. Okay. Now, let's do the same thing on the front. So, I'm just going to kind of take a look at it and kind of study where I think I want my cover to go, which I think is right there. Yep, okay. And I'm going to add some glue. Don't need tons because we don't want it seeping out you don't want it showing. You don't have enough fabric to cover it, you know. So, okay, making sure things are fairly well aligned front and back, top and bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing very carefully. Get this to stick. And I'm just actually, I think I'm going to just sit and hold this for a minute until it's dried and it's not going to move around anymore on me. So I will be right back. Okay, so it's still a little bit delicate. I don't want to move it around tons and tons just yet. It's only been a few minutes, really. So at this point, I do need to kind of plan out. I'm going to do a stitch through the spine, through the cover, into the back side of this fabric. So I kind of need, and I'm going to use this hemp twine to do that because I really like the look of it. And it's thin, and it works really well for this. But if you have twine, or if you have some other kind of, actually in the beginning when I first did this one, I had some like antique navy cottony twine, cotton kind of thread, and it looked really cool. So, or maybe it was a wool, I'm not quite sure, but it was a really cool thread. So if you have some kind of really neat thread, I mean, this is going to be structural, but it's also decorative. So, okay. So, I've done in the past, cross stitches, which I really like, or I've also done just haphazard kind of random kind of seed stitching. Well, not really seed stitching, but just straight stitches. And so I'm trying to decide right now what this journal is telling me it should have. If I should do cross stitches or the straight stitches. Cross stitches are cool, or a little bit more folky looking. I'm thinking maybe short but wide cross stitches would be kind of neat. So at this point, it's just a matter now of drawing or doing your, I probably should have done this before I glued it, but deciding where your cross stitches are going to be. So I can see my fabric just kind of peeking out right here. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's going to help me get a vertical or a line of where that fabric is, and I want to make sure and stay inside that. So I'm just going to go ahead and make holes so that my stitching can go straight through to the other side. So I'll be back after that. Okay, so I've got the holes done on the front. I'm going to go ahead and just do the same thing on the back. Okay, so here's the holes on the back. Some of them got a little bit wonky, but you know what? This is handmade, so, oh, and that was upside down. So, okay, so now we're going to sew these in. So I'm going to go ahead and get, let's see, what kind of a, I think I'll use this one. This one's an awfully big hole though, or awfully wide needle. Let's just make sure it'll go through and not, yeah, it's too wide. Okay, so let's not do that one. I like this one because, actually, I think I'll use this one. This is the one that I use to sew my signatures in with. It's got a blunt end, which is nice because you don't poke yourself. I mean, you still could, but And then this eye is wide enough to take a little bit thicker of a thing like this, but the needle itself is not super wide, so it actually just works really well with my pokey tool. It's about the right size. So, okay. So, oh yeah, and we're leaving all kinds of... Oh, I might have to seal this or something. I got gold all over. Oh, we don't want that. Okay, I'll use this piece for something else. Actually, no, we need to go up and down. So I'm going to grab kind of a longer piece of twine here. I don't know how long it needs to be, but I will knot one end. Double knot it. I don't know why I always do this. I give myself like no tail, and then it's super hard to knot. And just take off just a little bit of that. Okay. Now, pull that through. And I want to get my knot on the inside, top or bottom. So I'm going to start here, and it's going to be difficult to see all the time. But I'm essentially just, I'm going to grab my pliers too, because otherwise my fingers are going to hurt. Just have the pliers do the work instead. So just gonna cross stitch all the way up and down on both sides. And when you're doing this, and if you know how to cross stitch, you will understand what I'm saying. Always do it in the same order, meaning I started, hold on, let me pull this through. I started in the bottom left and I went to the upper right. I'm going to come back up through the bottom right and go down in the upper left, and same goes for everyone. So when I get done with this cross stitch, I'm going to come up this hole here, I'm going to go back down this hole, I'm going to come up this hole and go back down this hole. That way on both sides it's going to look even and uniform, and it just looks nicer that way. So trickiest thing is now finding your hole on the back side. stand out. I like it. It's a nice little detail, but it really doesn't take away. And it, more importantly, is holding our book together more solidly. So, I mean, obviously the glue is doing it, but also the stitching is definitely helping. So, okay, let's go ahead and finish this thing up. I think I'm going to go ahead and rough these up now that we've got all that kind of done. Actually, I'll just kind of go like this. I like having those little fringy bits on the top and bottom. Let's kind of rough it up a little bit. Plus it kind of helps to hide that space where your hollow binding is in your spine. So it just kind of helps with that. Okay, now the spine. So last time I kind of was trying to decide what to do with this. I'm going to just put this inside the book in a pocket so that she can put them wherever she wants. I did like the idea though of putting this on our spine piece. It is a little too wide though, so I'm going to just rip away from both sides like so. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see this. Probably should have done this before I put the whole thing together. Okay, so, but we need to put something behind it. I think it needs something. Maybe, oh, you know what? Maybe. How about a little bit of this inside spine fabric? I wonder what that would look like. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so let's see. It needs to be pretty, like I can't have too much on either side, so cut it right there. Sorry. Had to reposition my body so I could get some leverage. This is tough material. And then see how that fits. And I'm sorry, I know you guys can't really see it very well here. Okay, so if we cut it about there. I'll definitely keep these little pieces. Okay. So that kind of covers most of the spine, but I don't mind that so much. And then we'll have this going, oh yeah, that's a nice effect. Okay, so I'm gonna glue this to this, and we'll just glue the whole thing on. Simple as that. I like it when things are simple. Get my glue. And I like how this piece of cardboard is still a little bit fringy on the ends. I mean, it's old, and we're showing the old, you know? I kind of like that. Okay, so I think I had it like that. Try and get that as centered as I can and straight. And as glued down as I can, because, you know, this is still able to be, it could easily come away if you're not careful, so. Alrighty, now let's stand you up, and I need to stand up so I can see. About like that. Okay. Our spine has lost a little bit of its curve, but that's actually not so bad. I think it'll help the book to expand. Guys, I really like this journal. I'm really kind of amazed at how it came out. It's so different from how I originally had envisioned this one. I thought I was going to do something pretty simple, just, you know, plain papers on the inside and adding the little definitions here and there, but this one kind of took on a life of its own, didn't it? But so much fun. Okay, so there we have it. It's basically done. So at this point now, I need to get our pockets glued down. I don't know why I put my glue away. I still need that. I will put these in on my own time. We've got this little guy needs to go back into his paper clip. This will be separate. This one goes in. Oh, I didn't do these yet. I was gonna sew around this and make them a little less wide. This one anyway. I'll do that before I do the final flip through. Now I'm trying to decide if I should make this into a tuck spot as well as a pocket. I don't think I will though, because this is a little bit flimsy, and trying to get things in and out of there without it being completely glued down is going to be a little challenging. So I think I'll go ahead and just glue the whole thing. I need to be careful. I don't want to glue that journaling card into the pocket by accident. So I'm going to spread this around with my fingers. Okay. Make sure we don't cover up any of that gorgeous edging. Okay, pull this out. There we go. All right, I'm going to leave that out for now because I also need to remember that I need to finish it. All right, and so now for the back cover, so we can cover up whatever happened there. I still don't quite really know. This just needs to go right down into the middle. So go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to smooth this out too because I don't want it leaking out onto the textured cardstock. It might be not as easy to get away or get off of the cardstock if that happens. So, okay. There we go. And just smooth that down. Very cool. I love it. And then this will go back inside, just like so. Perfect. I like how this matches. And we've got that on the outside cover. Alright guys, well, there we have our junk journal. Looking pretty fabulous. So I'll go ahead and finish these little bits and pieces, and then I'll film a full final flip through after I finish all that. So go ahead and look forward to that. I may add some kind of closure, although I don't know if it really needs one. I might just wrap some nice sari silk around or something. So anyway, alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.